Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, your host, Amateur Overlord, with...
Amazing Menace.
All right. First guest I've had on my show, part of the Discuss This League, which is like a play on words because, the Justice League is... Anyway, going forward, he'll be one of the key people that we have here to discuss things. And today's topic...
Kanye West and mental health.
Kanye West and mental health. Again, I'm not sure where to start with this, so I'm gonna defer to your...
I think we were talking about this topic earlier on, actually, which is why we chose to make it a topic on the channel. And I was saying to you that an example someone gave to me that helped me understand a little bit mental illness a little bit better, or empathize with it a little bit better, was this. And he basically said that when you break a bone, i.e. your arm, your leg, you get put in a sling or a cast, basically something that we can physically see to say, boom, you're not well, or there's something wrong with you physically. With mental illness, though, we haven't necessarily got that luxury. Aside from maybe your demeanor, your facial expression, something we can maybe read to say there's something not quite right there, which usually sometimes is telling. Not always, though, because as you know, we both got people in our lives that do suffer, unfortunately, with mental illness. And they can be very good at hiding how they feel and masking it. So when it comes to mental illness, it's very, very, not only is it hard to sometimes, what's the word I'm looking for, to point it out initially, because sometimes we all have that member in the family that we, is a bit quote unquote off, and it's until years later you think, oh, bad, he actually suffered with something, So I think that's the main problem with mental illness is it's hard to sometimes spot, and also it can be sometimes hard to empathize with it, which does make it a problem for those who suffer with it and those who have to deal with people who suffer with it.
That is very true. In my particular case, I think for many years I lacked a great deal of empathy. And it wasn't until I dealt with the fact that I suffer with a certain amount of anxiety that I was able to understand better how someone else might be suffering. Because you're right, you can't see it. So it's hard to it's hard to know the level of empathy the person needs because there's not tangible evidence of the injury. You're like, well, how badly is your brain hurt? You know, it's like, how is this affecting you other than what you're saying? It makes it sadly harder to empathize and harder to believe or understand the discomfort that the individual is going through. And I see it a lot in my workplace. A lot of the older gentlemen there, they grew up in a generation where, like, people just didn't talk about it. And in West Indian households, you can't even have mental health issues.
It's banned.
You try and have a mental health issues, that's just more, that's a beating just waiting to happen.
Exactly.
They say, you're rude, or you're this, you're that. It's just like some black kids in general, you can't have mental health in some houses. Mom says no.
Yeah.
Dad says no. Like, you're acting up. That's all you're doing. And that just means you want to get more beatings than your usual amount, your allotted beatings.
And that's the thing. And then in turn, because the parents then just think, oh, this kid's misbehaving, they, as you say, react either by beating the child or scolding them. Things that we know people who suffer with mental health is only going to make it worse, or either make them go more into their shell or make them even more disruptive. So it's dealing with people, I think, with mental health is an issue that I think needs to be addressed. The question is, though, how do you empathize with someone with mental health? If you yourself do not have it, is it even possible to fully empathize with them?
I think
that's my question.
That question. I think basically to deal with any issue that you don't fully understand in life requires more education. And when I realized there were people in my life, more than one individual who suffered with bipolar, I did research on bipolar. And that's why when I was saying to you guys, I remember we were in a live chat group, and I said to you guys, Kanye West has bipolar. This is before he came and admitted it. I said, you guys, he's in a state of mania, which they used to call bipolar manic depression. Yeah. And I said, and when people are in a state of mania and they have bipolar or whatever, they speak very grandiose. They have these fantastic views. They feel like they've got the whole world figured out in a second. If you've watched Homeland, Carrie, she suffers with bipolar, and when she's going through, like when her meds ain't right, although she's an actress she's pretending to she nails it.
Plays it very well.
Yeah, like she gets it. Like
that's why that show was quite groundbreaking when it first came out, because it was saying it was one of the first sort of authentic, realistic portrayals.
Yeah, of a main character who suffers with a mental health issue, and she still had a great job. They let this woman work for the CIA. She quote unquote had her finger on the button. She's a lady. I think it's anyway. Not to get off topic, but it's very groundbreaking. I love that show. Homeland is one of my favorite shows, and I'm not plugging it. But watch that.
I'm still behind, I'm still on like season 3.
You better come up, man. All kinds of fantastic stuff. They're like Game of Thrones. They'll clap anybody who needs to get
That's
clapped.
what I like about the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is true. That is very technical.
Yeah.
You just said no spoilers here, though.
No spoilers.
To bring it back, though, since we're talking about mental health, what I was saying with how do you sympathize with someone who has it? What you were saying was, unless you suffer with it yourself, best thing to do is do research. You'll never be able to 100% empathize with it unless you deal with it, unless you have, let's say, someone directly close to you that has it that you can maybe observe and work with and deal with. Question is, though, how I think it boils down to, when we're talking about Kanye West as well, what I was saying to you is, not only is it hard to sympathize or empathize, with someone with mental health, but also Kanye West he's got double that. And not only does he have mental health issues, but he's also rich. And for a lot of people, the percentage of those who are rich on this earth in comparison to those that aren't is a stat. We know that for a fact. It's hard for people to sympathize with those who are rich anyway. We hear it all the time. Anytime a celebrity goes through something, a divorce,
it feels like they're complaining. Like they have everything they need.
Like, what are you talking about?
Like, even if you got that,
you're cool.
Like, you can afford to have the doctor come to your house and talk to you about your stuff in your comfortable setting there. Like.
And although that is true, and although rich people do have luxuries that, let's say, the average person doesn't,
absolutely,
there is a disparity definitely between the rich and just your average citizen. They're still humans and they still go through things.
Also true.
I think the problem with Kanye West is he suffers with these mental health issues, which is already a taboo subject, like I said, where a lot of people don't empathize with. And also he's rich. So it's kind of, you've doubled that. You're dealing with this rich person who's going through all these things. And I think the gap between, let's say, Kanye West, with all the things he's going through, and just your average person is so vast, is looking thinking, that man's wild and he's crazy.
Yeah.
I think also another thing, not to ramble on, that tends to happen, which is unfortunate, is when we deal with people with mental health, when they go through, as you say, the state of mania, which can be a combination of different things. They can feel this euphoric sense where they feel like they've seen the light, which is why often sometimes when you hear Kanye West talk, he's
dropping prophecies.
Yeah.
Like
and for people who don't know, that's just him in that, as you say, that state of mania. And so the problem is, not everyone sees that and just brushes it all on the rug and say he's crazy. And that's another thing that people use to disregard people with mental health, is just to say they're crazy.
It's like Chappelle said, it's dismissive. It's an easy way to stop it's an easy way to stop the conversation. It's an easy way for you to not have to empathize. You just write the person off as being, incapable. And not incapable in the sense that they can't be helped, but actually, that's exactly what it is. You literally just say, this person, there's nothing that can be done for them, and that, in your mind, then absolves you of having to assist them in any way or to even try and understand where it is they're coming from.
It gives you an out, basically.
Yeah.
It just gives you an out to say, this person's just that, we'll leave him there. Which is what I've seen a lot of people tend to do with Kanye West. Where do you stand with him? Because he has said quite a lot of controversial things, to say the least, in recent times. We know people who've followed him and his career for a very long time knows he's always been very outspoken. But I think this was the first time I saw where it seemed like the masses were against him. Usually he's very polarizing, for or against, but I think this was the first time where it felt like the masses were like, nah, you've just gone too far this time around.
Well, I think it was 2005, Hurricane Katrina. He's standing next to, I think, Mike Myers there.
Chris Tucker.
Well, they cut to Chris Tucker. He's standing next to Mike Myers, and he goes, George Bush doesn't care about black people. Now, I've been black my whole life. And I've been to Texas. Not too many old white men in Texas like black people. Spoiler, So him saying that wasn't shocked. And in my heart, I don't think George Bush dislikes black people. I think that he looks like the kind of dude that would have lots of black friends if his parents let him. But to say that to now be buddy like cuddling up with Donald Trump like Donald Trump likes black folk more it's there's certain things you can do that makes you look like a hypocrite, and if he's gonna make such a direct statement that I believe it was heartfelt at the time, you've got to remember that we can still see you're famous, so there's gonna be a video record of the things you say and do. I watched Kanye walk into a signpost when he was out with his wife.
Freak out the paparazzi.
And it was because he was trying to avoid the paparazzi that he slapped his own head on the post. And before he took responsibility for it, he was like,
and if you want to go even deeper, the fact you got that many paps around you is because you're associated with someone who's built their career off of having them around.
I'm not going to speak on his wife. I'm not going to speak. I don't watch her show.
You know?
I don't find her to be interesting. I respect her as a businesswoman. I respect what she's been able to do with what she was given. She made it rain in her desert, you know? And now it is a beautiful oasis. And I respect that aspect of her. But her family, this is not a diss. The whole situation with her family it seems to me to be like a 3-ring circus sometimes, or more rings. It could be 5, but there's always some kind of madness going on there. And I think that cool if you guys are adults and you want to do all that stuff, but now you guys are bringing up like kids in that environment who are not gonna have had the quiet, peaceful time to adjust to everything the way you did. You're literally dropping them straight into that fire. And they're going to have to contend with the situation as is, not the way you got to deal with it, having grown up, deciding what you wanted to do, and so on and so forth. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're very, very right. I mean, speaking to that, then, being, as we said, we're talking about Kanye West here, having the issues that he has, suffered a lot of the tragedy that he has, being involved with the family that you're saying now that he is, with all the sort of the whirlwind that goes around them, it kind of is like the perfect cocktail for someone who has an issue to just go over the edge, which is I think what we're starting to see glimpses of. Although I think occasionally he reins himself in. It's like, how can you be in that kind of environment and stay sane?
This is it. And that's very important. For my studies of mental health, people with mental health need to be in a stable environment as much and as often as possible. The more chaos there is in your environment with mental health issues, the more chaos it will invariably cause in your mental state. So, him, and I'm just speaking tongue in cheek again. If the Kardashians watch this, which I doubt, I'm not speaking on y'all like y'all are terrible people, but personally, if there was a camera always up in my business and people following me around taking pictures of me and my kids, and I've got mental health issues, that is going to cause me stress on levels I can't comprehend. And I think when people get famous, they don't necessarily ask for that, but it comes with the package. Yeah, so.
And yeah, it makes it.
I feel bad for him. I know that.
I do.
I realized that, like, when everyone was giving him a hard time about the whole Taylor Swift thing, I went back when I was online, I was thinking, what's going on with this guy? He seems so different. And it was right around the time that his mom had died.
Yeah.
So he was dealing with that, and he was wavy. He was at an award show with someone like Amber Rose.
At the time, I think,
Hip hop's Courtney Love. Yeah, I said it.
that's telling. That's very telling. We'll talk about that another time, I think, as well.
So yeah. Sorry, Courtney Love. You make some great music, but it is what it is. You know. Yeah. So yeah. Well, we pushing the 14-minute mark here now. This has been a great episode, I feel. I'm really happy with how everything went down. Please give mad love to my man right here. Amazing Menace.
Yes.
And going forward, we're going to make sure we have more guests and more controversial topics for you to enjoy. Please subscribe. Tap the bell so that I don't have to keep getting in your business and telling you what to do. And that way you can also be subscribed and get the notification as and when I drop these, which I try to do every single day. So that will be all for us today.
All right. Amazing Menace here. I'm at Trovalon. Take care, folks. Peace.